want to talk about immortality today. And I had a really great question from David that said, why would you really want to live forever? You know, our minds are really only equipped to live 90 years at the most. And he cited his grandmother that was very old, and when she finally died, she was very tired of living. He talked about, the myth of vampires and, the curse that they have living on and on and on, and they call it a curse. And he said, to not think that we'll ever have any rest and not think that it'll ever be over, that's a little bit too much to bear. Why would anybody want to live immortality forever? Well, it's a really good question, and I have no answer for it. You thought I was going to answer that. Well, I kind of am. But my answer for it is that I really don't know, and I don't understand. You see, when God made me, He gave me a finite mind, not infinite, but finite. In other words, He created a particular time, a particular space, and placed me in it. God lives outside of time and space. There is no time, there is no space. But He didn't give me a brain to understand that. We've talked about this before a little bit, trying to imagine the color that you've never seen. How do you imagine that when you don't have anything to relate it to? All we know is what we see, and yet when we get to heaven, there's probably a lot of other colors, and we just don't know what they're going to be like yet because we have no reference point. What we know is within this particular time and space. Well, God says that when we're finished here, we're infinite. In other words, we live in eternity. We don't understand that. When I try to think of the fact that I'm going to live forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and it never ends, my mind short circuits. It feels weird and I can't understand it. But I trust Him. I've gotten to know Him enough so that I trust Him, and I trust the fact that my mind isn't going to be this mind. It's going to be transformed into an eternal mind and a mind that is infinite and not finite. And so just because I don't understand it here doesn't mean that it isn't going to be wonderful there. And I trust God enough to know that it's going to be great, even though I don't get it. That I am in good hands with my eternity with Him. And that's really all I need to know. So don't let it bother you that you kind of freak out if you don't understand infinite things. You never will. You never will on this earth, because God didn't give us that kind of mind. Hope that answers your question. Kind of. God bless you. Have a great day.